Here we've got our second studio shot. Again, I'm just gonna come in first and clean up that lovely little black spot on the bottom. Clone it out real quick. Okay. So I think this one is pretty much just gonna be mostly about playing around with saturation. So let me dig into our hue saturation layers here, and we'll just kind of treat each of these colors one by one. The beauty of color blocking is everything is gonna be nice and separate, more or less. All right, so red, we're gonna come in, we're gonna boost our saturation there. Looks pretty good. Her skin tone is getting a little bit too saturated, so I'm gonna mask that out. Pump up our flow here. And now it's actually looking a bit desaturated, so I'm just gonna, when I finish masking this, we'll go back in and we'll back down on our mask, because I like a little bit of that saturation in there. So we'll come in and we'll just bring our density down. So you've got a little bit more red in her skin, a lot more red in the background. And already you can see that really making a big impact here. See, back to our hue saturation, our yellows, let's get into that. We're just gonna bump that up, easy peasy. Let's see about our greens. Greens will probably have to crank a little bit higher because they were a little less saturated initially, but we can get them there. I might try to fiddle with our hue a bit. Yeah, this gets it into a slightly more yellow tone if I come back on the hue a bit. Yeah, lightness looks good. And last but not least is our blues. And I know we talked about when we were shooting having this double split, actually quadratic color harmony here. And this jacket to me is reading a little bit blue. So what I might do here in order to get it to something that's a little bit more purplish, because that's our complement of yellow. So I might just play around with moving our hue over a little bit. So this is just gonna make it a little bit more purple, and it's pretty saturated, but we can play around with bringing that up a bit. It's all about color. It's really bright. I wanna just crank that saturation to a point where it's gonna be believable, but also really graphic and really make the image pop. Here's our before and after here. Again, all we've really done here is just affected our saturation, and we're having a really, really huge graphic impact there. And just to top things off, I might just come in, I'll play around with our selective color a bit, and in our whites, we're gonna add a little bit of cyan, because that's what I like to do. Going to be pretty subtle, but it's just adding a little bit of the tone from the green tights into our shoes. So that's just about the gist of it as far as the color work goes. Obviously, we're going to have to come and make some tweaks in our dust in the backdrop here. But ultimately, to make that color really pop, all we've really got to do is come in and with that hue saturation layer and just crank it up. And now we've got a really graphic, really impactful, quadratic color harmony image.